All right. Hey, everybody, and welcome back to the Voice of the Microsoft Partner. My name is Sherman Crancer. I'm the CEO of the Crancer Group, and just want to say thanks so much, guys, for coming back. I've been off the last two VOMPs, but luckily I've had a great team here. I've gotten some really great feedback, from a lot of folks on my team talking about. I think the last one we were talking about incentives and co-op and a bunch of different things that are really applicable to the group. So there's this thing called the AI adoption curve that Microsoft has coined, okay, but it actually makes a lot of sense. So, the first thing we have to think about is, leaders, need to decide how are they going to provide cutting edge AI options to all of their employees, number one, and then number two, to all of their customers. Because right now, we all know that putting Copilot licensing on every Office 365 license, what does that do? It doubles the cost? How many companies are raising their hand saying, hey, yeah, please double my monthly subscription, please. I need to pay Microsoft more money, right? So now with agents, that's a different story, right? We're thinking a little bit differently. Maybe we're not providing a Copilot license to each person, but we're thinking about maybe providing an agent, someone who's going to help them out, right? So the leaders are trying to figure out, how do they provide access? And if we understand that, now we're like, okay, maybe we have a different thing. Maybe we're not trying to sell them Copilot across the board. Okay, we're going to sell them something a little bit different. Okay, that's going to help them holistically, right? So the next, customizing your agent after you have identified that particular industry and then the problem set. Now, boom, now you can start using these as very simple building blocks. This is not that hard. And I think so many of us are thinking to ourselves, this is so hard. This is going to be so hard. There's no way I'm going to be able to do it. Team, I think you can get an agent up in less than a month without having to hire a developer. I think you could. David, maybe this is his way of saying, no, you can't.
No, I think you could do it in a day. I don't think this is a month thing. I don't think this is a 2-week thing. If you haven't toyed around in Copilot Studio before, you haven't played with a Copilot Power Platform, I would strongly encourage everybody today to go toy with those. A lot of the knowledge base that like Sherman's been talking about today, a lot of the knowledge is already baked in, right? It's built into the GPT models. The additional knowledge that you're providing is just what's specific to what you want that agent to do, right? The canvases are very low code. And if you get stuck in the canvas, guess what you can do? You can ask Copilot how to create that next step of logic, right? Sometimes it can iterate and do it right there in the canvas for you. Same thing in Foundry. I don't think, and this is just my opinion, I don't think it's an issue of time. I think it's an issue of willingness and effort and not being afraid to mess up once or twice. Be customer zero, right? Start internally. We'll talk about that more in a little bit, but all right, I'll get off my soapbox. It's back to you, Sherman.
Thank you. No, that was perfect. That was perfect. You can do it in a day. You don't have to be scared about it. All right, we have a question. We have a hand raised. Sunny Clark. Let me see if I can.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, there we go. Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, there we go.
This is probably a dumb question, but I know you said there are no dumb questions. When I see the managed services at monthly price, are you saying that that's a Microsoft managed services, or the managed service provider would charge that?
No, that's what you're charging, the managed service provider.
Then what is the 15% partner earned credit? Where's that coming from?
So that partner earned credit, you're gonna get that from Microsoft on the back end.
For selling which product?
For selling the actual Copilot and the agents.
Yeah. Got it. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. So that increases your overall profitability just a tad bit, but it's there.
That's helpful. Thanks.
Yeah. Yeah, and at that $500 mark as well, that's actually pretty reasonable. But we also just got to be careful on this one. You're basing that based off of probably a smaller environment, okay? But that agent is using to help maybe do billing for a certain department or something like that, right? got to be careful. You can't say $500 a month and hey, put this out to the public.
No, this is great. I appreciate it. No, I ran my business partner. I was like, hey, we should charge $1,500 a month and say we'll create up to X number of agents for them. Like I was working at, so you're helping me kind of bring something to fruition that I was already kind of thinking about. This is very helpful. I appreciate it.
Great. That's what hopefully this whole damn VOMP is about, right? Solving some problems here. So thank you. That's awesome. Thanks for that feedback. Now, before I move on to this, remember we had the idea of business associations, and you talked to the president. You said, hey, what are the problems? This is what I want you to do now. Okay, the next step of that is you say, hey, Mr. and Mrs. President, we're developing an agent for your industry. Would you mind if we went ahead and developed this and had you test it for us and tell us what you think? Okay, because now you're giving a nice little, it's an investment, right? A little bit of an investment on your end. Have them test it. Then after they test it and they come back and they say, yeah, then you can say, hey, since you are the president of the business association, we'd also like to do a test with one of your organization's members. Who would you like to nominate? And we'll go ahead and give a POC, right? For that. We'd go ahead and give you a POC, right? A proof of concept. But really what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to get and create somebody who's influential within that business association to be a believer and then my new advocate inside of that business association. Okay, now, third thing to extrapolate is after you've completed step 1 and step 2 and you have this offer the way that we talked about it, very simple now. Now, all you do is market to those 250 businesses in that one business association. You have a target market. You know that you're solving problems. You now have the president of that association behind you, and you also have one of the top members who's using your stuff today, and you're solving his problems. Bing, bang, boom. There you go. That's it. That's all you got. You got it now. That's all you got. That's all you need. So I expect 22 people here today to come back on the next VOMP and say, Sherman, we are all in business associations. We've all created agents and we're all making money left hand over fist. It's unbelievable. I don't know if I can attend any more VOMPs. I'm about to sell my app for $22 million. And then I'll say, hey, please don't come to another VOMP. If you sell it for $22 million, I'm going to have you as the next guest speaker. You have to be on the VOMP. Okay.
I want to talk about just a few numbers here. And then what we're going to do is we're going to break into different examples of these tools being utilized across different organizations and what that exactly means. So if we just kind of barn burn these real quick, Finastra, their marketing team, with the help of Microsoft AI tools, cutting down their content creation time from 7 months to 7 weeks. Lumen, they connected Copilot to Salesforce and ServiceNow, each employee saving them 10 hours a week. In turn, they're getting 40% more outbound calls done, and that's going to add $50 million in annual revenue to their bottom line projected, right? Honeywell, their employees are saving an average of an hour and a half every week. Those little bits add up, right? That's 74 hours per person every single year. At Oxford Hospital, with all the admin tasks, a lot of those being automated to some degree on the admin side of the house, it gives them more time to focus on what they really enjoy doing in the first place, which is spending time with the patients, right? Solving their issues. Amgen, they rolled out Copilot to 20,000 employees. They're using it to boost productivity kind of as a whole, but really focused on accelerating the drug development for rare diseases. And that list goes on and on. The big key is that they leveraged Azure AI Foundry. If you've not leveraged Foundry before, Foundry brings structure to building and deploying AI use cases, which is needed when we're talking about large organizations and you're trying to implement and deploy multiple AI use cases across the board, right? Foundry has standards, governance, reusable assets, you've got production pipelines, you've got integrations. All of that allowed them to move beyond some of the beginning pieces that the beginning stages that a lot of us are in, a lot of our customers are in, which is kind of like, isolated pilots. And instead they've been able to adopt Gen AI at scale. This isn't how most customers are going to start. Small pilots are still going to be your entry, but of course, this is always going to be the end goal. How do we get to a point where we're using a service that we can rinse, wash, repeat, and continue to add to our productivity? Sherman, cyber security. Now, I know pretty much everybody in the room here, you have your preferred security solution because everybody and their grandmother does, okay? But today we're talking about Microsoft AI tools. Now, when you're in some of the different command centers for some of the different Microsoft products around security, you've got raw logs, telemetry, unstructured data, false positives. What Security Copilot does is it helps you cut through the noise. You can convert all of that obscure information into, through natural language, through just throwing out a prompt, and get some remediation and recommendations, and not just in the form of a chat, right? You're able to get solutions like scripts, queries, and so much more. It's a co-analyst by your side. Their research shows that partners are using AI agents to unlock different levels of new revenue growth, especially around modern work as a whole. The real driver for success as far as AI is concerned is building custom AI agents with Studio, weaving some generative AI into legacy systems without the need for a complete overhaul and costly lift and shifts and replacements, and pairing that with advisory services, kind of like Sherman was talking about earlier as well, that can guide customers on where AI can deliver them the most value and how they can adopt it responsibly. Every organization today, I say this and I scream it from the rooftop, every organization today have employees that are using AI, whether their organization enables them to use AI or not, right? Meaning personal company data is constantly flowing out into the open world, and every organization that waits longer and longer is not benefiting from that, right?
What I want to do is get to the summary, because the whole idea about this whole coming to this VOMP is how do we think profitably? How do we turn this into profit? How do we actually make any money out of it, right? So these are the steps in my mind, okay, that I think you need to take, right? Think about the problem that can be solved by automation and or a chat interface, right? Number two, contact the business association in your area that you can verify the problem you've identified and validate your intent. Use Microsoft Copilot Studio to create or use an out-of-the-box solution available to your industry. Test that application with your business association by doing a POC for free. Go ahead and eat a couple grand. Just think about this. Don't trip over pennies to make millions, okay? Invest in what you're trying to do, right? Because you're ingratiating yourself, you're working with them. Because imagine this, if you do it for free for one person and figure all out the problems, and now you have a list of 250 members of that association, holy Moses, 250 to 1 ratio there, okay? We got to build it once, and then, man, that's the beauty of software as a service. Create a low-end offer for easy instant adoption. Okay, that's important. You want to get them in, you want to get them started, right? Add to your application of available an AI model. And lastly, expand your offer to all business association members. Okay, so just want to say that is where I'm going to leave you with today. Thanks everybody for joining today. Really do appreciate it. We're going to give you back 1 minute. Okay, if you want to contact us, here you go, 1 minute to your day. And if you want to contact us, go ahead and use those emails there. Anyways, thanks everybody. Have a great afternoon. We'll talk to you guys later. Bye-bye.